And
In progress.
good, that's what I was waiting for. Okay. So open the meeting. Thank you, Amy. To open the meeting, the first item is to approve the minutes from the October 24th, 2023 board meeting. I was not there, so I can't vote on that. And so do I hear a motion to approve the minutes?
Okay.
One little thing I would mention. I'm not sure where to
Okay.
do that.
Okay, we
think
need
you
to
motion
second,
and
we need a
second.
second, and then we go to Scott.
All right, okay.
Did I have a second?
Second.
Okay, Shar, second. Okay, discussion, Warren?
Right, the change I made, I probably did it wrong. In the public space advisory committee, which is yellow. Says the county had no final plan, but would begin once the bridge across Maryland 175 was secured. It says once, should see once funding
Yeah.
for the bridge, once we don't need to begin. Funding for the bridge across Maryland 175 is
Okay,
secure, yes, or was secure in this matter.
so Brigade Amy, you have that proposed change? Okay,
Probably with me. So.
that's okay.
You know.
Any other discussion? Okay, to, could you help me here, Brigida, to approve the amended minutes? Do we need another motion to add the amendment or
no.
anything? We just
No.
go with, okay, we've had discussion and then, so we'll vote on the amended minutes, okay? All in favor of the amended minutes? Okay, that's 3-0-0, and I can't vote because I wasn't there. So, or 3-0-1, I abstain.
Yeah.
Right, 3-0-1, I abstain. Okay. And then the next item is approve the agenda for tonight's meeting. Do I hear a motion? Warren? Okay, second from Rebecca. Okay, any discussion? All in favor of the agenda? Okay, that's 4-0-0. Okay, the next item is resident remarks. 3 minutes per resident. Are there any residents present or on Zoom who want to have residents speak out tonight?
I just admitted Samuel Hahn, so I don't know if he.
And I think
Okay.
Ashley had her hand up too, Brigida.
Okay, and anyone who, so Samuel has his hand up for residents speak out. Okay,
No, that's just the,
no, okay, my fault.
not that I'm aware of.
Okay, I saw the hand by his name, but that's gone.
That's
That was just the cursor.
Oh, okay, okay. Now,
Oh, is that what that is? Oh,
Yeah.
are you trying to fool me here? I'm standing and I'm being messed with here. A little leftover Halloween fun.
We're just messing with you.
Mess with me. Okay, so you want to see if I still have it. Okay, I got it. So anybody
I
for
thought
residents
that were
speak
too.
out? Nobody for residents speak out then. Okay, we'll move to new business, Howard County budget, OMCA priority letter draft, new business. So there's discussion on this tonight, and let me just go through the highlights of it so all present know what we're talking about. We have copies of draft letters to Dr. Calvin Ball and to Dr. Opal Jones. And the priority lists are all short-term and of equal importance and not listed in priority order. And the first one is school and education, talking to the issue of the deferred school maintenance on both Oak Mills Middle School and Oak Mills High School, that this has been a long-standing issue and that we are asking that this be a top priority with the county and getting the funding for these schools in bad need of maintenance and renovations. That's the first item. Second item, safe and comprehensive complete street project for entire length of Stevens Forest Road. There are several issues over time on the road. And that on behalf of the community, we would like to ask for a comprehensive study of Stevens Forest Road, including and from the roundabout at Stevens Forest Road and Farewell to the intersection of Stevens Forest and White Acre to determine what other improvements are necessary. There are safety issues at different places, among other things. So that's the second item here. A third is tree removal and timely replacement. We understand the difficult budget decision the county must make across all departments. At the same time, we support funding for public works for the staffing and equipment necessary for timely and comprehensive tree removal and replacement program. Another item on the priority list is routine roadway median maintenance. The only type of maintenance the medians get in Oak Mills is through a mowing agreement with the Columbia Association during the spring and summer months. There is no maintenance to the medians at any other time. Currently, leaves have fallen on the median and will remain there until the spring when the median is mowed and clogged storm drains and the leaves pile up on the road. So it becomes an unsafe situation with a lot of leaves on the roads, particularly on wet roads. So once again, we ask the county to follow the lead of other local jurisdictions and fund a leaf vacuum removal process and begin with the pilot program in Oak Mills.
Yep.
Another item is Blandair Park. Blandair Park is extremely popular. There are a lot of events there, tournaments, etc. And those tournaments use Oak Mills Middle School and Oak Mills High School parking lots to serve as overflow parking for the events at Blandair. What we're asking is for an investment of economic development funds providing directional signs promoting the Oak Mills merchants. And this would provide a simple and unique opportunity for the county to work with Oak Mills merchants and promote our village shops and restaurants. Another item on the priority list is Orchard Green Path extension along Route 108. The Oak Mills Village Board supports extending the path from the Orchard Green tot lot to the Red Branch Road light of Maryland 108, providing safe and legal pedestrian and bicycle access to the Red Branch Road businesses. However, we need a small budget and commitments from the state, Howard County, and Columbia Association to make this connection. We are requesting the county's help to facilitate a budget for the shared use pathway and gain commitments for this much needed complete street solution. So those are the items that are on the draft priority list. And to open discussion here, what are board members' thoughts on the list? Anything that should be emphasized a little differently than what we have? Anything that we feel should be added to the list? And is there anything that should be taken off?
I just, for the routine roadway median maintenance for the LEAF program, and I don't have wording, maybe Warren has wording in his head, but I think something needs to be said. We've spent so much, the county has spent so much energy putting in bike lanes, but then they become unusable because they get covered by leaves. So that needs to be part of that.
Okay.
Is the street sweeper Howard County or is that Columbia?
No, that's a county.
That's a county thing?
Yeah.
So I don't know what the wording is for that, and I can figure out something before the next meeting.
Yeah, that path is on Oak Mills Road is completely filled with leaves.
Yeah, it makes those bike lanes unusable, unsafe, unusable, unseeable.
Yep.
Stu Berlin said it's a
Yep.
mess even in the summer that they're stuck in there, so they need to clean those out.
Yes, and it makes for unsafe transit for the bicyclists, and then sometimes they will go out to the travel lane to where it's safer riding
Mhm.
for them, but it then makes it an issue of bike and car together, and that's not good.
If you get a walnut, black walnut underneath
Mhm.
leaves,
Oh.
that's
In front.
scary,
Yeah, right.
Especially if you're on those skinny tires.
yeah.
Yes.
So just so you know, the request, I think I know I sent it out to everybody and I know Jonathan followed up. So this is just a draft of the priorities. They're kind of taking a different approach. Paul Thompson, our constituent rep, was also he was at the Owen Brown meeting that I was at last week, and so he kind of explained that they're looking for the initial priorities as a draft form, but that obviously as the months go on and we're further into the budget process, like we can, obviously, if we think of something else, it's not like we can't add it. So just, I wanted to
Okay.
say that as you think about what we're
When are
seeing.
they gonna make the decisions?
Well, I know that they have the county first citizen budget hearing is normally in December and the second one is in March. So I think this is kind of a preliminary to both of those.
And so the county's taking a flexible approach to
Yes,
this. It's
they,
not a hard and fast one time bang said and done.
exactly.
Good.
Yeah, and I think council member Dr. Jones' office is same, which is why both of the letters were as part of the attachment.
Yes,
So it's not specific to Oak Mills because it doesn't live in Oak Mills, but our hospital in Howard County is way too small. And people get turned away at the ER all the time. We've got a multi-generational community here that uses that hospital. So I don't know if you guys want to just put a line in there about expand, the problem is that there's not enough beds. And so then the emergency room, people can't get a room when they come in through the emergency room. And so the emergency room is completely stacked up. So, I see them turn people, I mean, not all the time. When I was there with my mom, I saw them turning people away.
it's from a practical perspective, Oak Mills residents do use the hospital, so it
Yeah.
isn't in Oak Mills, but it does affect many
Yeah.
Oak Mills residents. And if I remember correctly, I thought I saw somewhere that Dr. Ball was looking at this and looking at putting more money into the emergency room scenario at Howard County General, if I remember correctly.
I think they want to expand the emergency room.
Yes,
I
I don't
think you're
believe
right.
that-
I don't know for sure, but I can ask.
I don't believe the problem is staffing. I think the problem is it's not, the hospital's not
Space.
big enough for how many people. And it is the only hospital in Howard County.
right.
Lots of those, third-party emergency room, I don't know what you would call
Patient
those.
first, that kind of
Yeah,
stuff,
like
yeah.
that. I've seen several of those.
They're starting to handle some of the
Opening.
overflow for easier things for that kind of, yeah, I agree with that,
Yeah.
Rebecca.
So Brigitte, would you mind writing up a sentence or two to add to this? To say this is, we understand the county executive, the county government understands this is an issue, but we support.
Yeah.
Any
Okay.
kinds of
Expansion.
expansion enhancements there at the hospital, make it easier for all residents of the county to get better medical care, proper medical care, words to that effect.
Maybe
Okay.
we support exploring expansions, because I don't wanna say we support all, like
Okay.
any way that you can expand this, do it, because.
Part of the issue, I think, is the footprint that the hospital has. It's very hard for them to expand because I think they're not allowed to go any higher and they can't go wider, so it's a challenge. We actually need another hospital in the county.
Just as
Yeah, go
an
ahead.
anecdote, at the meeting that we were at yesterday, the president of Jack Winery's wife they were in the emergency room for like, I don't know, 8 hours.
Hmm.
And then they just, oh, I'm not getting
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, they waited that long. So
They waited long enough to be recovered. Oh, that's interesting.
It's a long time.
Yeah,
Yes. Thank you, Brigitte, for that addition when we consider this again in a couple weeks. Any other thoughts on the priority list from the board members?
did we mention the mold in the school stuff?
They mentioned health problems because of HVAC.
Mhm.
No longer support environmental conducive to learning. I mean, they
Yeah.
explicitly say mold, but
Yeah, that last sentence here in that first paragraph.
Okay, thanks.
Mhm. It's covered there.
this is a lot like, it's weird.
It's pretty much the same.
I was reading it going, this looks very familiar.
Mhm.
Yeah.
In other words, progress is slow.
You bet.
And when I went through it, I did take out some of things that were that obviously didn't fit in, but I also bolded the specific acts as opposed to the language outside of just, but then exactly what we were asking for.
I appreciated that, because then I keyed on that as I went through the summary now, and I appreciate that.
So I just have one comment about the hospital. I don't know, has anyone heard about Kaiser back, the one that has the medical center on Gateway, that they kind of bought up that land back there to build another hospital with an emergency department back there? So I thought I heard talks of that, is that Kaiser had purchased that land, I guess, some years ago at one point to build a hospital with an emergency room, but I guess for some reason they didn't have enough of, the patients like coming onto their network. Kaiser Mid-Atlantic, because I know Kaiser West in California, they pretty much monopolized that side of the region. But over here, when they started to migrate more this way and put more Kaisers into play, I thought the land back there, Kaiser had purchased to build another hospital with a full emergency unit attached.
There is a medical building in that vicinity, which is where, so when my mom had her surgery, her follow-up visit was there, and I'm trying to remember exactly where it was, Shar. But
Yeah,
it wasn't Kaiser. It wasn't Kaiser. Yes.
Okay.
It says Kaiser does have a medical center in Columbia Gateway.
It does.
Yeah, they do have the gateway back there, but then I don't know who I was speaking with, and I thought they said that Kaiser had that land they had purchased back there because at some point they were going to build a full hospital with emergency unit. Because the only other one with the emergency unit was, you have to go to South Baltimore to get the Kaiser with the emergency
Right.
unit. So they were going to build, I guess, in that area. I mean, that's what I heard, but I don't know how true that is, or
It says they have urgent care. I don't know what the difference between Kaiser urgent care and Kaiser emergency room would be, but.
So the urgent care, how Kaiser,
Emergency care.
yeah, their urgent care works. You have to pretty much call like an advice nurse, and they pretty much do an assessment over the phone. And if they feel like you need to come in, they'll make you like an appointment, within an hour or two, and you come in. But that facility closes at 5 o'clock. So anything after 5 o'clock, you either have to go to Howard County General Emergency Room, or you can go out to South Baltimore. So I thought that they were going to build a hospital with the emergency room, where patients can come at any time through emergency, just as they're doing in Howard County General.
Gotcha.
No, Kaiser just had a personnel issue. They had a strike.
Yep, that was.
So
Ah,
that might have affected their future plans.
okay.
They
Yeah, they had a-
negotiate with the medical staff.
Wasn't that just recently?
That
It
was
was
very recent.
That was like in the last couple
like
weeks.
2 weeks, yeah.
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
What's that?
I said I'm pro union, so good. I hope they win what they need.
And any other comments about the priority draft? Okay.
So what I can do, is I can put in the couple things that you had mentioned, and I'll resend it out to everybody. And if you don't like the way I said it, certainly just let me, just let me know.
Throw tomatoes.
Okay.
Sure.
Very good, very good. Okay, we'll move on then to old business. Review of the donation requests that were received by the October 15th, 2023 deadline. We have in our packet the request for this year, and then as a help, the decisions that we made last year at this time and how we assigned the money and the donations. So and this is old business, so we'll make decisions here tonight on this. Just for everybody's, who's on at the meeting on Zoom, the organizations that made requests for donations from us this year. Oakland Mills High School, the amount was $3,000. Oakland Mills Fine Arts High School, Fine Arts Boosters. They had a list of $10,000 and they said any donations to cover any of that would be welcome. Oakland Mills Middle School, PTSA, $2,000. Stevens Forest Elementary PTA, $1,655. Stevens Forest Elementary School Battle of the Books, $300 to $500. Thunderhill Elementary PTA, $750. OMU, Oakland Mills United, $1,000, and the Village at Howard, $500. And as part of our process, they all had to submit detailed letters in the process outlining how they would use it, the contacts, et cetera. So this is just a summary of the numbers that have been requested. And since I wasn't able to be at the meeting last week, I know there was discussion. So for the board members here, how did you want to go about making decisions? Do you want to go down each one of these and assign a number, or is there some other way that you feel would be a good way to proceed?
Well, last week we talked about the percentages of students served by the different schools
Mhm.
and then the other things. And Warren and I kind of made, that you were on board with this, right? We kind of made a rough draft list based on those.
Mhm.
So maybe we could start from there and then change that as you guys
Okay.
want to.
Okay,
I think it looked like
Take-
Brigida
take it
put
away,
it in
Rebecca.
the,
take it away.
well, I think it's in the packet. Brigida gave.
Yes,
it.
everybody,
we have-
yeah, Amy
So
put
those-
together the list.
Yeah, that's awesome. So those 2023 numbers are the ones Warren and I have kind of made up.
And the 2022 is what Brigida sent us.
Okay,
So kind of trying to equally distribute according to
Right.
students served. Or Oakland residents served, I guess.
And
I
this
should
is
say.
the 2023 is just starting points. We're not, this is not set. in
Open to
stone. We're not-
discussion.
I'm not, no, this is just, yeah, let's start talking. These.
that's great.
A suggestion.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so would you want me then to go down the spreadsheet you have here with the name of the organization and the proposed amount for 2023 as a starting point here?
Sure.
Okay, let me do that, and we can then zero on in on, well, let me go through them all for the audience here, and then we'll come back and do one at a time and zero on the money. Oakland Mills United, the 2023 proposal is 200. Village and Howard proposal 200. Stevens Forest PTA proposal 500. Stevens Forest Battle of the Books proposal 100. Oakland Mills High School PTSA,
They didn't make a request.
they didn't make a request this year. After I was just going to say, okay, they did last year, but not this year. Oakland Mills High School proposed 1,000. Oakland Mills High School Fine Arts Boosters proposed 1,500. Oakland Mills Middle School PTSA proposed 1,000. And Thunderhill Elementary School PTA proposed 500. And that comes out to a total of 5,000. And I think in our budget, we have a budget of 5,000. Is that correct?
That's correct.
For
yeah.
donations? Okay. So,
What does it say left unspent from?
That was from last year's budget, but that was used for other.
Gotcha.
okay, so Oakland Mills United, $200. Thoughts on that?
I think we talked about this. And we thought it was just, that's about half of what the elementary get.
Okay,
That's kind of what we wanted to make sure everyone got, that submitted something, got some money. And I don't know how many people they really supported, but that was my thoughts on it. I don't really know these somebody might know these organizations better than I do.
Samuel Hahn is actually on the call. He is the president of Oakland Mills United. And he did send us in response to some questions about what percentage of Oakland Mills residents benefit from Oakland Mills United. He had sent an email which I forwarded with that information.
I'm more than happy to hop on and clarify anything as well.
It's majority high school students, all right?
Yes, and it's majority Oakland Mills High School.
Right, so majority of Oakland Mills High School students, and we're already giving, well, the group is already giving Oakland Mills High School money. So that would be in addition to the other money for the
Same student.
fine arts boosters, the high school itself. So. Bringing their total up to 1,700, did I do my math right?
Yep, that's right.
Actually, 2,700.
27.
27.
Mhm.
You and I both did that.
Yeah, yes.
But yeah.
So $200 for Oakland Mills United seems reasonable to everybody. Okay, I'll put a check mark against, next to that. Next item, Village and Howard proposal is 200. Any thoughts on that?
They were my initial numbers, so I'll let everybody else come in.
Okay,
And the Village in Howard has what, 185 members?
To be honest, I don't know their exact membership, but I would say roughly, the group that meets in Stevens Forest Neighborhood Center.
All right, they're headquartered here. They also came to the CA board meeting to residents speak out and not asked, but suggested that they were in support of us providing grants so that they could get money. And I think they stated in their thing that they were gonna go to other village boards as well.
Yes,
I think that's fair.
they said 200 sounds like a good number for Village and Howard. Put a check next to that. Stevens Forest PTA, the proposed is 500. Thoughts on that? Looks good.
Yeah,
Good.
I mean.
Looks good to everybody?
Yeah.
Okay, put a check next to that. Stevens Forest Elementary, Battle of the Books, $100 is the proposal.
Right, because we're giving them 500, the PTA 500, so this would just be,
A little added extra for the Battle of the Books.
right,
Okay, we'll put a check mark next to 100 for Stevens Forest Elementary Battle of the Books. Next item, Oakland Mills High School, 1,000. Any thoughts?
well, I mean, my logic on that, or our logic on that was. Last year, we gave $2,000 to the fine arts boosters, that was all. That's what we gave to the high school, so. $2,500 total. Seems fair, so it'd be $1,000 and $1,500.
Okay, so 1,000 for the high school, and then the next item would be the 1,500 for the high school fine arts boosters.
Right,
Okay, so both of those, the 1,000 for the high school and the 1,500 for the high school fine arts booster sounds good to everybody?
Right.
Okay, I'll check those in. Next item is Oakland Mills Middle School PTSA, $1,000 proposed. Any thoughts? Everybody's pretty much good with that. Check mark next to that. Thunder Hill Elementary School PTA, 500 is the proposal. Thoughts on that?
The only thing is, equality of Stevens Forest is getting 600 total. It's tough. I don't understand how to logically think of it in my head when, for example, like Oakland Mills High School and Oakland Mills Fine Art Boosters, do they both count? Because they're both counting towards the same contingent or the same location, the same with like Stevens Forest and Stevens Forest Battle of the Books. are the same, but they're separate groups asking. So I don't know how to balance that in my head.
Well, Jonathan's not here, and I wish he was, because I think supporting the fine arts boosters, so take this with a grain of salt. I'm highly in favor of that. However, they are not specific at all about what they're gonna spend the money on. Whereas the other groups all provided details about what they want to do with their money.
I think their letter makes it clear, they just have so many expenses that
Right.
anything, they're like, give us a drop to put in this bucket because we
Okay.
have
Right.
tons of things we
They
need
have
to buy.
uniforms, they have lots and lots of things that they need.
And the reality is, I can speak as a former fine arts booster member and parent. Because they're the fine arts boosters as opposed to the boosters, they don't have as many opportunities. Not that they don't take advantage. I mean, they just had a mattress sale, things like that, but whereas the boosters have a lot with all the sports games,
Right,
et
right.
cetera. So it's kind of their way, and this is totally my opinion. It's not as the village manager, that's a former parent of a high school band member. That it's just, there's a difference. And so fine arts boosters oftentimes does not have the capability to make the same amount.
Okay.
That makes
Doesn't
sense.
have other revenues.
Yes,
I think that's kind of what we mentioned last time we met, and I was convinced that it made sense to give them more money.
Yeah, that's why I said I wish John was here.
So Rebecca, I'm sorry.
Doesn't want to be here.
he did.
That's what-
Yeah.
And that's why I'm here.
This particular.
So Rebecca, if I'm reading you right, are you saying, look, Stevens Forest Elementary got 600, Thunder Hill got 5, maybe go 550 each, something like that? Is that what you're?
I'm just
toward?
throwing it out there. Obviously, I came up with these numbers to begin with, so I was okay with this, but I'm just thinking like full equality.
Well, Stevens Forest Elementary School, I think it's 50% of the kids that go to Stevens Forest Elementary School are on free and reduced meals, and it's
Right.
only 30% in Thunder Hill.
So
So
I can see that. I mean, that.
I would take that into account also.
That's why.
Sure,
I
yeah.
thought- That's why I like this better,
Okay,
than making it even.
that's what I tell the kids all the time, right? Equality is not everybody getting the same thing, it's everybody getting what they need.
Yes. Okay, so we're good with 550 for Thunder Hill PTA?
Just 500.
I mean, my fault. I'm looking at 500 and I said 550. Thanks for catching 500 for Thunder Hill. So we're all good then with the numbers we just went over. So do I hear a motion to approve the numbers as proposed in this spreadsheet?
oh, Sam Hahn had his hand. up.
Okay, oh, I'm sorry, my fault, Sam. Can we?
Charles.
Hi, I just wanted to hop on and, I was listening to the conversation. I guess for us as an organization, we truly are a community organization that wants to support the others in the community. And I guess it's a bad light for me to say this, but I guess for you guys, we would be okay if you decided to cut our funding to support some of the other student groups. Because we understand that this, for them, this might be their main source of revenue. And so I texted some members of our team, but if you guys want to relook at that, I know you were talking about sort of the equity issues with the elementary school, but if you choose to come and table some of our funding, we'd completely understand. But I just wanted to hop on here because I heard that conversation and I was like, we should do something. So I just wanted to put that out there.
That's really
Okay.
sweet.
Thank
That
you,
is very
Sam.
sweet. Thank you, Sam.
Okay, and any other comments, further discussion based on what Sam said? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, just leave it as we discussed it and as it's on the spreadsheet. Okay, so do I hear a motion to approve the donation list as per the discussion tonight and the approved numbers here on the spreadsheet?
I will put the amounts in a motion. That's usually what we do is the whole, the amounts, the breakdown. and everything.
Right, when you print the
Say
motion, I mean,
Yeah,
when you
she wants
print it in
us
the
to,
notes, in
if we-
minutes.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
That's what I anticipated. Yes.
So, you know,
You don't.
Yes,
have to
thank
say
you.
that to them.
you don't
That's
have to,
what we-
Jonathan usually does better Jonathan specials. He just like browses the songs.
So do I hear a motion to do that? Okay, Warren. and
Second.
Second, I'll give a second to Shar there. Any further discussion? All in favor? That's 4-0-0. Okay, great. Thank you, team. That was very good discussion. Okay,
We were flying for this.
and the engineer in me.
Mhm.
Columbia Council Rep report.
So I think you guys, hopefully everybody here saw the newsletter that I sent out. You know, we're deep in budget discussions at the Columbia Association. And it's a very convoluted process to me. And one of the things that I was really, really hoping for is that when we started these budget discussions, that I had specifically asked, what would it take to make the pools free in July? And then that was not included in the budget. And then it turned into a vote at our meeting 2 weeks ago, and only 3 board members voted to even look into seeing what it would cost to do that. I think that we actually have enough money to do that. So it's something that I'm going to continue asking for. But in the meantime, the board has asked the staff to come to us with a budget for plans that they have. So for example, if the pools need to be modernized, if something has to happen to the pools, they have to be modernized for some reason. I'm just throwing that out there, whether it's adding play equipment to the pools, no matter what it is, but that they have some sort of a plan and they know like how much that plan would cost. And then we can start looking at over time, how much would you need this year, the following year to meet your plan, right? And I'm not sure that that's what we got in our meeting last week. So we did ask Susan Krabby to kind of go back to the drawing board. The other thing that has come up on multiple occasions is, for example, some of the decisions that they're making in these budgets are on outdated plans. So for example, the watershed management plan hasn't been updated since 2008 or 2009, and yet we're making budget decisions off that. So I specifically asked, and this one did get carried last week, that we find funding to update the watershed management plan. I think that one's specifically critical. So again, we're deep in budget discussions. If anybody has any questions about, you know, what the board is trying to get on that, please feel free to ask, reach out to me. And when I'm looking at the agendas and all that kind of stuff, I'll try to figure out how we can introduce things. Speaking of which, tomorrow night is the board operations committee meeting. I was on so they divide up the board members. So you don't get to be on the committee every single time, but you can go to the meetings. So I was on the first iteration, and this is where we decide what's going to be on the agendas for the upcoming quarter. So we have that meeting tomorrow night. So if anybody wants to log on and hear, it's a virtual meeting. If you want to log on and hear that process, that's available as we work through, and you'll hear me ask for a couple of things on that activity. And then I believe, now I haven't seen agenda, we have a meeting tomorrow night at 7, and I have not yet seen the agenda, but I believe it's about our search for the president. So TransPro is the company that we're working with. The gentleman who is the main point of contact for us, he actually lived in King's Contrivance for a little while. He doesn't live in Columbia any longer, but I think they're a really good search firm, and I have a lot of confidence in him. So I'm looking forward to tomorrow night to hear what he says. All of the board members were asked to take, it's not a test, but to answer questions. And I'm trying to remember what the name of what he gave us, the scoring test thing he gave us. But it was basically about what do you want to see in a president? So anybody who's a candidate would answer these questions as well, but it's different behaviors that you want to see in a CA president. So all of the board members had to take that to give them an idea of what we're searching for. So I suspect that the results of that will come up tomorrow night, and we'll start working on the job description and all those types of things. And, you know, you guys can be as involved as you would like to be in this process. Just let me know when we get down to interviews. We are hoping to hire this person by the end of March. So when it comes time to interview and things like that, I would like as much resident involvement as possible. So on that, I talked about the strategic plan last time, and I don't want to steal Bill's thunder when he gets to talk about the play area pilot survey. So I'll leave that for Bill, and I think that's pretty much my update for tonight.
So I have a question.
Sure.
I'm interested in 2 pathways in Thunder Hill, the Thunder Hill neighborhood. One of them is the Orchard Green pathway. And that one, I understand that they don't want to do it until there's a pathway that goes along.
Right.
a sidewalk or pathway along 108. But I'd like to get that somehow budgeted or at least in motion. I know they're aware of it, but I don't know how to,
We can ask about that.
Yeah.
I'll ask about your path. And also, I think, Warren, does it have to be a full sidewalk on that side, or does it just have to connect to a crosswalk?
it just has to connect to a crosswalk, but Howard County is planning on putting in a multi-use path there.
Okay. We just
But
don't know
when that
when.
happens, no
Right.
one knows.
Okay,
And the other one is, it's at Blue Coat. The county has promised to put in a crosswalk there
down by where,
where
the
the
path
path crosses.
to the
but-
tunnel, okay.
Right, but they met with CA. And CA needs to move the path so that it crosses.
Okay, we've talked about this before,
Right,
yeah.
right, and I just don't want that to be forgotten, those two things. I'm not sure if needs to go in the budget, or if that's just, or what that is, those are the two.
To line up the paths, is that the issue?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
and
Can't they
that's
just
just
do an
some.
angled crosswalk?
Right, why can't they do an angle crosswalk? Do
I
they have to do
think
the
it's
curb
some
cuts there too?
traffic engineer rule, I don't know.
I think
Like,
you're
Is
right.
it like how the cars have to stop for the crosswalk or something, because it's at an angle, is that?
Yeah, it's about sight distance.
Part of it's sight distance.
Okay.
I think they're actually going to make it, the county said they will actually make it so you can't park on one side of the street. They'll take that away.
So on the side where the
Because-
tunnel is,
Right.
okay, so I never walk on that side, I walk on the other side normally to pick up the path when I'm with my dog, and I haven't walked there in a while, obviously, but. Isn't there a solid curb there? Did they put in the curb cuts there? Did they put like the yellow?
They did not put the ADA.
So do you have to
compliant.
walk down a curb to get to the?
It's not a curb, it's not, it's
It's a
just,
Columbia curve.
yeah. Yeah, it's like your driveway.
It's they call, I think the traffic engineers have two kinds of curbs. One is called a mountable curb, which we have a lot here in Oak Mills. And the other is the barrier curb, which is about 6 to 8
Right, right.
inches at a 90-degree angle to the roadway itself. You can't get over that, whereas the mountable curb, you can roll right over
Does
it.
the path go all the way up to the roadway, or does it stop at the sidewalk?
Goes to the roadway.
It goes to the road, okay, I was
Right.
trying to remember, okay.
But it's not, they're not ADA compliant, they're just,
Which side would they move? The side that has the bridge, the tunnel?
I don't know.
They don't-
I was
okay,
not
I'll
in
ask
that
about it.
discussion.
I'll ask
But
about
It
it.
would be tough to move it because there's water. I mean,
There's a stream on one side.
both sides.
I don't know how they're gonna do it.
Hmm.
I just, it would be nice to have it so that it was.
Well, I'll just ask a general question about it, because I'll ask about both of these things
Okay.
and see what we can do, because these seem like they're like small things that come up during the year that they should be, like to me, the one on Blue Cut, I feel like they should be able to resolve that one. That one, we should be able to take care of, like there shouldn't be any waiting on that. The one that would be a bigger deal would be the Orchard Green one, but.
Right.
But I'm gonna ask about both and see if we can't get some action on the Blue Coat crosswalk.
Okay, that'd be
Yeah.
great. Thank you.
And does that wrap you up? Karen?
Yes,
For the-
thank you, Bill.
Okey-doke, fantastic. Brigida, village manager report, please.
Yeah, so, they redid, there was several stones in the courtyard that were coming up because of tree roots. And they came and did an analysis of the whole courtyard and replaced all of the areas and made it so no longer are the stones sticking up, and so it's all flat, and then they followed up by power washing everything, so that was very nice. And then at the end of this month, every year CA walks through all of the facilities to see things that may need to be done on their end, on our end, etc. So that's hopefully scheduled for the end of the month. I haven't gotten a confirmation on a date. Of course, a few of you were there on Sunday. We had our new resident open house, which was very nice. We had about 10 people come. And they really liked it, and they were definitely happy and thought it was a great idea. So I think we'll absolutely have it again. not sure when, we're gonna look at our calendar and see, but, I just think it was a positive step, and I think the more we have it, if people hear about it, then it's kind of another connection to see who we are and how we can help them, so.
So I apologize, I don't know what that was about. What did you tell them? What did you present?
So each one, all of the weekday staff were here, and they each had a table. So there was a covenants table, there was a rentals table, Amy had an events table. And then there was a board table for any board members who were able to stop by, and there was information. A lot of people went to each table to find out that Amy had a little spinning wheel that they could win tickets to an event, or what else did they win? Oh, I had bought some Dunkin' Donut $5 gift cards.
Oh, nice, because we still have some.
We had some,
And candy.
of course, you know, I love them
That
candy,
stuff.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And that was the prize of the candy, yeah.
Yeah, and then we had little welcome bags that had some information in it, and then our contact information, board contact information.
Yeah.
And of course, candy, because I of course love candy, but so they are actually available. We were gonna take the chocolates out of them since we didn't want them chocolates to get stale, and keep them somewhere. And so the idea is to have CA regularly send us the new resident list. So, and Sandy did it before COVID, she was doing it pretty regularly, and then it kind of got lost. So I'm trying to bring that back. Yeah.
Brigida, I think it's wonderful. Paul Roshinsky came on Sunday, and he and I were
did,
talking for a
yes.
long time. And he was saying, we don't have welcome centers anymore. You know, you used to come to Columbia and you had the welcome center downtown. And like, people don't know, like I was telling some of the people, we have 10 villages. You know, they don't know just that basic information
Right.
about Columbia, like, you know, we're a planned community, we have 95 miles of pathways. So I think it really kind of like, it's really great that we're doing this, because it's a welcome. It's a really nice,
I
it
agree.
can fill in a
It's
gap.
Really important. Thank you. It's great.
Yeah, I think it's very fitting. You know, everybody always says Oakland Mills community, so I think it's very fitting for us to have it. And Amy and Ashley helps out with it, but we are open if, like, Karen had a couple of suggestions as far as maybe talking to realtors. And Karen, I did want to let you know, when I went on the little realtor bus tour, I did mention it, but it was kind of a while ago, so a nice refresher would have, you know,
Yeah.
worked something out. But that was a great idea. So we are open to suggestions.
Do we have a
Well-
way of getting their contact?
Well,
That's what Carrie asked me, yeah.
don't they, when someone's gonna sell their house, or is there something, like, I remember when I moved into my townhouse in Long Reach, I had to get like a whole thing of
It's a
info.
resale package.
Yeah,
yes.
resale packet that you have to give to the owner. It would be really nice just to slide something in there saying, hey, our next welcome, you're welcome to Oakland Mills. Here's our, you know, if you had something like that. just-
Yeah, that might be an option if we
Yeah, just
do
to,
it that way, yeah.
Ahead of time.
Is there such a thing these days with real estate being as it is, like the real estate cycle, right? Like it used to be summertime is when everybody moved. I don't know if that happens now.
Yeah, I don't know either. I mean, I do know that there's a lot of requests for letters of compliance in those warmer months, and not so many in the colder months. But again, being the housing market as it is, I don't know how it will play out for this year, but
Yeah.
as a general rule, I think that, like it used to be, the spring and summer, big time for people.
So like twice a year, is that what you think? Like,
We were thinking we might do, if we could squeeze one in the spring. Spring is very busy, but before everybody starts to, you know, go away for the summer
Right.
or whatever.
Mhm.
So we did talk. about
Especially
it.
now that we've done it once, we've kind of got an idea of how to do it. Next time
Mhm.
we'll be as involved.
Right.
agreed.
And toward the realtor issue, there are a couple of realtors who contact me often who live in Oak Mills,
Right.
who might be able to give you some information on when the best time to have it, how to
okay.
find out to new residents, that kind of stuff. Mel Keycon,
Oh, yes, I
you know
know.
Mel,
I
okay,
do know.
and then John and Angela Toner.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, I think
Those
that.
two I get information from all the time,
Yeah.
so contact them, I think would be helpful to get some more information to help you get more people here.
Okay. So that was our open house, and then, of course, we have lots of holiday events coming up, and Amy has been advertising and putting it all out on social media, and tickets are all on sale for breakfast snacks with Santa and gingerbread house. So we're just getting it out there. We want people to come. And then of course our lights in the courtyard will be our final holiday event. And we did secure the food truck, who is a former Oakland Mills resident who's come back and is really excited to be working with us.
No blast DMV. I
Yeah.
said I would start putting it on our promotional materials.
Our Jazz in the Mills concert is sold out.
Awesome.
That sold out last week. And one thing I did want to note, just FYI, is that I talked about it at the village managers meeting. I know Amy's talked about it with some of the event coordinators. A lot of the ticket sites have started to charge monthly fees. And there's tiers based on the number of tickets you sell. So Amy did a lot of research to find out which ones might help us out. And what we came down to was Eventbrite was the most flexible for what we needed. So we're gonna use it for now, but still continue to look to see if there may be a better option. But just FYI. And then lastly, I don't know if you remember the CA quilt piece that we
It's
gave
beautiful.
in. They allowed one person to attend the reception at the Art Center. So I am going on Thursday to see the unveiling of the quilt. It's supposed to, once it's been at the Art Center, it's supposed to travel to each village, but they haven't figured out how they're going to safely transport it.
How big is it?
Apparently it's very large. Now, I will hopefully be able to take pictures and
Right.
share it with you after Thursday, but
I think they're gonna display it, like at the interface center or here.
well, the idea is, if I understood correctly from Robin, from CA Engagement, she said that they're gonna start off with a display in the Art Center, and then they wanna have it so it's at each village, in the village, you know, the main, their main venue, so people from the community can come and look at it, but they haven't worked out all of those details there. Yes, so those are something in the work.
So you'll have it somewhere upstairs?
And possibly, it will, I guess it will depend on how it works with our events and things like that, because we certainly wouldn't want anything to happen to it. So I'm sure as Robin gets the details, she'll kind of throw things out to us to see what might work best for us. And then the Architectural Guidelines Revision Committee has met twice, and we meet again tomorrow. It's been a really wonderful experience, and I'm going to be honest with you, I was not entering into it thinking that. So everybody has really enjoyed it. It's been very productive. And I think that I can see why there's a recommendation to review it, not only because things change, but also it kind of gets everybody on the same page, those who have to enforce, those who do the applications, those who are on the recommending body, and then of course I'm a part of it. It's just been a really pleasant experience and really helpful.
On that, I have people specifically from Yards Live, but sending me recommendations of things they want changed. When do you want those?
So what will happen, according to the timeline, this committee will put all of our recommendations together. I will make a final first draft based on what the committee and our team has recommended. And then my goal is the last meeting in November, we will present it to the board, and then the board, the idea, you have quite a while, you have over the holidays to look it over, and that's when you could put in those recommendations.
Okay.
And then there'll be a board meeting and discussion to kind of see where you want to go. And then once the board discusses it, then at a meeting, they'll vote on it, and then it will go to CA Legal to make sure it's all
Gotcha.
proper.
Mhm.
So we're hoping, the goal is to have it all ready to go, voted on, etc., before the end of this board year term. So
Okay.
that's the goal. And then lastly, an issue that I mentioned when we were talking about the amendment to the management contract. They've been talking about the assessment share formula, which I had mentioned had been changed prior to COVID or during COVID. And then the question is, has it been returned to what it was? And so there's been a lot of discussion at village managers meetings. So what we've done is we've invited Jackie Tuma and Lynn Schwartz from CA to come and really talk to us and answer our questions. So I'll probably have more information after, probably in January, because we'll meet after the December board meeting. So it'll probably be in January when I have that information.
Brigida, is the village getting enough money from CA?
So here's why I'm not giving you a clear answer, because I haven't been provided a very clear understanding of whether or not we are getting what we should be getting based on the pre-COVID formula, which is, from my understanding, where we should be. They should have put it back in place, but I've heard that they have not put it back in place. And that's based on information given at village managers meeting, as well as when I took over, one of the things we did talk about. But I don't want to put out misinformation, so I'm not saying that definitively. That is my understanding of where we're at.
Right, but my question is more towards, are we getting enough money to meet the needs of the village?
Well, that is a very loaded question, Karen. I'll be perfectly honest with you. So there are always things that we could utilize more funding for, especially when we're caught in situations such as we were last year.
Right?
So my answer is going to be no, because like I said, there are always, and then as I think if it's distributed fairly and appropriately, then obviously we'll work within the confines of what that is. But I certainly think if there was an agreement to what it should be, and that's not what it is, then that certainly should be rectified.
We adjusted the funding for different villages a few years ago.
Yeah.
So we got less.
They changed the formula, how they did it, and so we did get less money.
Yeah, I am very interested to know, like, are there situations where we're, like, we are gonna have an emergency situation, the building's falling down, things like that, things that need to be taken care of that we're putting off for years and years and years, so. Absolutely, I would like to know, I'll look forward to that update to hear what they say. That was briefly discussed last week.
And I don't mean to be so vague, I just don't want to put something out there that I'm not
That's fine.
100% confident in saying, so.
I mean, this village is making money based on the charts that Jackie shared with us. There are some villages like Wild Lake that still aren't, doesn't look like they're really making any money since COVID hit. Whereas it looks like we are making money. And I can, if you're interested, I think she shared this with the village managers, but I can look through the presentation again. It'll be in the packet that we got last Thursday's meeting.
Right, it was and I didn't watch it because frankly it was my birthday, but it is on my agenda to watch it. I just did not watch it on my birthday.
No, that's totally fine.
But
But,
told me I did not have to watch the meeting on my birthday.
are
I
you
was
one of
like,
the
"Thank you
beauties
for
to
that."
it?
He's like, Brigida, do not watch. the
I wasn't
meeting
gonna
on
tell
your-"
you to watch me. I was gonna say if you want to look through the packet, if you have any questions or.
Oh, I absolutely would.
Yeah,
Yes,
so,
definitely.
Okay,
Yes.
thanks, Brigida.
But I think that is all I had. So thank you.
Thank you, Brigida. Board bulletin board, Amy, anything? Brigida?
No, we're just having a little staff goodies and hot cocoa tea as my thank you to them on Monday. They requested a cheesecake, and so I'm going to attempt to make
What
this
time is it?
cheesecake. Yeah.
Cause I've been craving cheesecake.
Have you, Rebecca? Well, that's good to know. If you have a favorite kind, let me know.
Plain
Cheesecake, okay. But that's all I have.
Okay. Becca?
Nothing.
Okay, Warren?
So I have. One of them was thank you to Ashley. She said that if anyone has any Telhoco or C-Click Fix that are old. So I had one, the light that at Mellenbrook and Log Chain.
Street light,
The street light is behind a tree, a very large tree, and that corner is very, very dark. So I put it in, Bob Marietta actually asked me to do it, so I did that, and it just sat there, you know, they just acknowledged they got it, and that was it. So I sent something to Ashley, said, hey, what's up with this? I get a call from Dennis, I forget his last name, he's the streetlight guy for the county. And I had a nice conversation with him after she prompted him, and we have a plan to move it somewhere else. We're talking to some of the neighbors to see what happens. So that was very cool. The other thing is, this is personal. Jennifer, who used to be on the board, she's my
Right,
daughter.
right.
She works for it's the World Trade Center Institute at the
Mhm.
World Trade Center in downtown Baltimore, and they have these programs where they'll bring like 5 people from a country, and that country learns about the United States and talks to experts about something. This is about public health, and it's Serbia, so they needed another host family, so we're hosting a Serbian for the week, and it's
Nice.
a lot of fun. It's just
Very nice.
Very nice, Warren.
yeah, it's fun.
Good morning, Karen.
I'm gonna let you do the play area one. That's the only thing
Sure.
I have. Nothing sure.
Okay. And Shar,
Nope, I don't have anything to report.
thank you for that. I'll do 3 quickies. Added one there, Warren talking about streetlights being hidden by trees, etc. The Exxon lot at the end of Broken Land Parkway, Stevens Forest Road, they cut down a lot of their trees over the last several months. And in talking with the staff there, they said they did it for safety, that the trees were blocking a lot of the lighting on their lot, that they couldn't see well at all, and they wanted better safety there, and that's why all those trees are down now. And heading down Stevens Forest Road, you can see their place much better than you used to. So it might be a little glaring, and it might not look as nice to us maybe, but they did all that for safety. Okay.
Well, that's not.
They don't have to ask me, it's the
Yeah.
property, because Brian England had said something to me and I hadn't inquired.
We were so sad to see the trees.
Yeah, they,
Yeah.
Yeah, Brian
Nobody
England
wants to
had
see
asked me when I
wearing
was having
hats.
breakfast with him about that, and so I asked.
Thank you.
About that.
yeah, it is jarring when you look at it from the road, but it is a much safer area for them, in their opinion, because now it's lights everywhere. There are no dark spots, because they had difficulty looking out on the lot and seeing because trees were blocking the lights. So it's a safety issue. Secondly, Ashley, I'm going to put in see Click Fix, an issue with Encounter Row here in Oakland Mills. Encounter Row is right next to the Stevens Forest Pool. There are about 75, 80 houses on and off side streets there. And a resident complained to me that it's a bumpy road. Make a long story short, I rode down it to the end, turned around in the cul-de-sac and came back up. There are about 25 to 30 cracks running across the roadway that have been filled with tar. But the issue is that those cracks, instead of being flat, have a little dip in them, so that they're like mini speed bumps. Instead of bumps, they're mini speed depressions in the roadway. And as you go over them, about 5 to 7 of them are fairly jarring, and I was going very slowly. And she said, can you do something about that? So I'm going to put in C-Click Fix, but I wanted to give you a heads up on it, that there might be something that the county roads could certainly look at, drive down there and drive back and see if they could do something to fix that situation. So I just found that out a couple days ago.
You're gonna fix it, and then she's gonna come back and say, people are speeding on our road. Can you do something about that?
Right, that's exactly the follow-up in the back of my mind. Absolutely, absolutely. And like I said, it's the opposite of mini speed bumps or mini speed depressions, but that's the effect that they have. You can't go fast there. And then the final item on board for me is we have the CA play area pilot study for Oakland Mills, and the survey went through several drafts, feedback from the work group, went back to Moray Group, which can put together the survey and will be conducting it. And the survey went out online October 27th. There were about 200 signs throughout Columbia in the open space areas with QR codes?
Yep.
Yeah, QR codes, so that they could fill out the survey. And before any other notices went out, I think they had about 1,000 responses, about 17% from Oakland Mills, which is about 165 or so. And then Brigida sent out an email to our email list asking people to fill out survey, and then I sent one out with my face on it, because a couple people said, we don't respond unless your face is on it. Okay, and what I think it really is what they do is download the face, print it out, and put it on their dartboard. And I think my old photographs were fairly pockmarked, so I think they needed a new photograph, and that's why they respond, only if mine's there. And what we will do is CA is going to run the survey through November 26th, so it'll be up for 1 month. They took ideas from our work group meeting last week for other ways to do outreach. We talked about school PTAs, senior centers, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And they're going to pursue other ways to do outreach to the community, because we want to get as many responses to that survey as possible. The response of almost 1,000 kind of out of the box surprised everybody, including Moray, that was a really good response. And about 165 from Oakland Mills is very good. I'd like to get a lot more from here. I'm glad it's going to run for a month, because nobody can say, hey, it wasn't up long enough, I didn't get a chance to fill it out. We're doing lots of outreach. And my hope is that Oakland Mills has, I'd love to see 300 from here, because there are 3,421 households in Oakland Mills. If we could get close to 10%, that would be fantastic. So that's the progress on that, and we'll keep everybody in the loop on that. And that's it for me from board bulletin board. So
Bill, can I add one thing
Yes.
to your play area
Sure.
pilot? So like I sent an email to Warren and his folks saying, you guys do not open space, but
public space.
public space that, I can't remember who it was, asked for frisbee golf. Everybody in the house should answer the survey. So like
Yeah.
Rebecca, you should answer, your husband should answer it. Get the
Kids
to
answer it.
so that we get as many perspectives as possible on the survey. So it's not just one person. So like Shar, you've got 3 or 4 people in your house. Everybody should take the survey. So
Yes, the more the better. There are no restrictions on one per household or any of that, and we're all aware of that. So we want to get as many responses as we can from as many different age groups as we can. Thank you, Karen. Appreciate that. Anything else from anybody? Yes,
You want us to resend it out right before Thanksgiving?
great
Great
idea.
Do
idea.
you want your picture on it again?
Great idea.
yeah,
More
Bill,
dartboards, more dartboards.
you're gonna add something to your letter. You had asked them to give some qualifying information about like safety guidelines, things like that. Are you gonna?
With yes, CA, there's discussion with CA and work group as to rationale behind why this is being done, the bigger picture, et cetera.
Right.
And CA staff is looking at putting that together, putting it on the CA website, and then have the survey direct you to that website at the end of the survey. Okay, so I'm letting them do that because that's all
Okay.
their ball of wax. I have put in writing to the CA staff a lot of explanation items that would help people understand more of the background to this and why. Particularly, one issue is some top lot areas now, play equipment areas that used to be able to hold 3 or 4 pieces of equipment can now only hold 1, because safety guidelines have said you need fall areas around each piece of equipment. Swings take large areas around them that have to be dedicated to mulching. So if a kid falls off the swing, they don't get enough piece of equipment to get badly injured. So that's an issue that is forcing it. There are several other things like when we first moved in and this was all designed, most people here were young families. Today, we have much different demographics. We have a multi-generational population. And so you need to look at how do we do all the play equipment areas, and then ultimately 2 or 3 steps down the road, open space to make it more amenable to more users, more generations, et cetera. So there are a lot of reasons behind this. And I made it clear to the CA staff, we need to get that information out to the population so that everybody understands the bigger picture, okay? And I made that recommendation strong, and CA staff has said, and even meeting last Wednesday, we need to do that. We have to figure out exactly the best way to do that, okay? Because Moray Group, they wanted to put a introductory message to the survey that was covered several points, and Moray Group pushed back against that very hard because it would deter people from filling out the survey. The more they have to read, the less likely they are to do a survey. And so that was the pushback. So CA's staff trying to figure out what's the best way to do this. We know it's an issue, how do we handle it? So that's the background.
Was there a discussion, like, I'm thinking about when Howard County does the transit studies and stuff, how they put out, these are some ideas of our plans. What do you think of these plans? And then you have something to comment on, because that was my thought exactly. And actually somebody reached out and said, hey, do you remember that day that you talked at the CA board? Because you had some good ideas and I want to include those in the survey. But when you just say, what do you think about tot lots? It's like, well, they're fine. But like, unless you present a problem that we're trying to solve or ideas, then they can be like, oh yeah, you're right, that would be better.
Very good point. And we got heavy into discussion with CA staff on this. As a matter of fact, Karen and I wrote a letter and had a luncheon, a long luncheon with CA staff, and we went over all of these issues. And a lot of it was limitations from the Moray survey group that you get into that right now. That's not what we're about. There's down the road, when we look at redesign possibilities, options, people can get into picking there. And the CA staff said, we'd like to get into some of these kind of things, but Moray is pushing against it, that it'll make it more difficult to fill out the survey, that people, not as many will fill out a survey. And so we all are saying, okay, Moray is in the group, in the business of doing surveys. They know what they're talking about better than we do, because we don't do surveys, okay? And so we're going along with them because they're the expert that we've hired, and we're not. But we have had those kinds of discussions, absolutely. There is going to be a 3-step process. This is the first step, looking at the play equipment areas. Second and third steps will take a bigger perspective on all of open space, and CA has not discussed those details with us, okay, yet at this point. But we have had discussions with them, and particularly in the lunch, that we need to look at the whole big picture, all of open space, because you don't want to have unintended consequences or missed opportunities because you went piecemeal instead of looking at the whole big picture. And CA staff is saying we're going to be looking at the whole picture in a 3-step process, okay? So
I think specifics get people fired up.
I agree.
Yeah, I think when the process moves down the road, Rebecca, I'm hopeful that when they get to the landscape architect and they're like, okay, maybe we're gonna combine a tot lot or something, maybe say, the one behind Blue Coat, that I always use that as an example, where it's kind of hidden. And probably they can't have a lot of stuff down there because there's too many trees. They can't really have swings, although I think they might have swings down there. But if they say that,
I know people that use that one.
right, every single one of the tot lots in Thunder Hill gets used. But they may, at that point when they're gonna redesign things, like, okay, so if we give you this enhanced play area at Hound Hill,
Mhm.
and you see all the great stuff, like maybe I'm just dreaming big here,
Sure.
maybe there's a bocce court,
Mhm.
with benches and a really great climbing equipment, something really fun, and everybody looks at that, maybe they'll be like, oh, that's pretty great. Or one of Warren's the folks at Public Spaces said, he wanted Frisbee golf. That I kind of was like, what would be kind of cool, and obviously this is all just blue sky right now, is like, what if you had all-weather Adirondacks set up and a fire pit, and you could watch people playing Frisbee golf? That would be kind of cool for some folks, would probably like to do that. But these are the kinds of ideas like, a lot of these came, from just listening to other people.
Sure,
But I
yeah.
think when we get to the landscape architect, we can be like, well, we really wanted a bocce court.
In the survey,
Right,
put these ideas in the survey, because that was one issue that caused some contention at one of our meetings,
right,
when I was told, Bill, you look like you're trying to sabotage the survey, okay, was most of the questions in the draft at that time were closed-ended questions, okay, that's it. I said, closed-ended are great, and you need open-ended questions so that people can put in ideas that aren't in the closed-ended questions. And that took a lot of back and forth with CA staff, and we do have a lot of select other and specify, okay? So that you can put, hey,
Sure.
Frisbee got, we need this, we need that, put that all in there as a start now. And then as we go through the next steps, et cetera, we'll begin to focus more on alternatives. Right now, it's the play equipment areas is their central focus, but you raise a great point, okay?
Yeah.
And many people have raised that to me.
Right.
And the issue, I think, is really Moray Survey Group is saying, the more you put in up front, the less survey responses you're gonna get. And we want to maximize survey responses up front, okay? And then as we get into it, we possibly could have other surveys to get into. Look, here's 3 different landscape drawings of how this specific area could be. We want your feedback on that and get into it that way. And a lot of it is Moray saying, that's not how to do things. Here's how to do things, okay? And so we're trusting them. Okay,
So.
but I have made those points, and that's why we have the open-ended questions in the
Right.
survey.
No,
Okay, that's basically me
like that.
being a pain.
Yeah.
No, I
Well,
like
no.
that, because I took the survey, and so I have, my youngest is 30, okay? I don't go to the playgrounds to watch my kids and let them play on the slide, right?
it would be awkward.
It would- But that's half the survey is, what age child do you go?
Yes, I
to?
agree.
And I was like, really? I said, I want to see some picnic tables at this place. I mean, that's what I said.
Put that in the survey.
I put that in the survey,
I did too.
but there was nothing. But besides
did
that,
suggest
it's
that
really
kind of
not
stuff.
for me at all. I mean, I should have put in, it'd be nice to have horseshoe or bocce, and I should have put that in.
Well, you can go back and do it. Take
Do
the
it again,
survey
take it
again
again.
and put it in.
All right, I'm gonna
Take
do
the
that.
survey again, and put it in.
Yeah,
If you
I'm gonna
forgot
be
stuff.
honest, I stopped taking it because I thought the exact same
Exactly,
thing. Is that
exactly.
my kids are all older, it's not really relevant, and
Right.
based on what you had said, and I liked your ideas too, I was thinking that there would be an opportunity to present. So I will go back in and retake.
Put
the
that in,
survey.
because when we
Yeah.
did the
Use those other
presentation,
fields.
we talked about multi-generation.
Yes.
We talked about a lot of different possible uses for the land itself. We took a big picture, big perspective. We sold a good vision. That's why we got a 10-0 vote from the
Right.
CA board. We sold a good vision
Yeah.
that the village board here approved, okay, and it came from that meeting of the open space committee, okay, January of this year. But it's the issue of dealing with it in the survey, and they really wanted to focus it, but a lot got left out, and that's why I fought for open-ended questions, and then go back, take it again, and dump all that stuff in there, because it will be used in the future, okay, so
Use the other
dump it in
field a
there.
lot.
But unfortunately, it turned people off like you.
Like me.
I was in the first weekend it was out, Monday morning, I'm cornered over at Spring Sports Club by a person who lives in Thunder Hill, lived here 40-some years. I coach his daughter. He said, Bill, I want to talk with you. Does CA have budget trouble? Are they getting rid of tot lots because they have budget
That's
trouble?
what the survey
That's
sounds like.
That's what it sounds like.
This was
to me.
my main,
Bingo.
this was my main critique of the survey when we first saw it, and I was like, you guys, it looks like we're taking stuff away. This doesn't look like we're reimagining it. It's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
CA just wants to get rid of tot lots, and that's, Bill will explain it better than I will, but that's why I'm like, that's why we really wanted the open-ended questions, is because that really gives people an opportunity to say, I don't want a pollinator garden. While I love pollinator gardens, I want 4 Adirondack chairs around a fire pit. I want Frisbee golf. I want,
Bocce
whatever,
courts.
bocce courts. That's backyard. So yeah, I think that's what that other is really, that's what we really fought to get that.
Yeah, because it
We
was,
got a
a-
free lunch.
it was, yeah, it was a poor man's way of getting the bigger perspective, was
Right.
open-ended questions here, other specified, please. But that, we sold the vision, okay, and then to get the original draft of the survey was all close-ended questions, and it was basically, we're taking away tot lots, and that was your immediate gut reaction. You
Yeah.
jumped the gun on the agenda in that meeting,
they
okay?
were not
You
happy.
jumped the gun on the agenda, bang.
Who let the board member in?
It
You
felt
know.
like- it felt like the people who helped create the survey were not part of the initial conversation and didn't know what the point was.
Exactly,
We're
exactly.
we're trying to create something, we're trying to be aspirational in what we're
Right.
thinking about, right? Like,
Right,
like make this an air, make it so we want the community to really use this stuff.
yes,
And so we don't want people to be like, I don't use the play areas. Well, okay, but what if there was a bench there? What if there was like Elkhorn has exercise stations or something like that? Like, what do you want? Do you want pull-up bars? We'll put in pull-up bars. I mean, it's that kind of stuff.
What if there was a movie night where you had?
Right?
You know?
put that in the
Yeah,
survey.
I
Or
do
fire
think we
pits,
should
I
do
like that.
Mhm.
I know, I like that.
Yeah.
That's, I'm gonna call everybody to come meet at the fire pit because the farmer's market closed. So.
And with this,
Yeah.
CA has said, we want more people to use the open space more often. Okay, that's one of their goals. And another thing they wanted, and they're trying to figure out how to go about this, is only 25% of the people in Columbia use the play equipment areas. Okay, they want to know from the other 75%, why don't you
Right.
use them? Okay, that's part of what they want to go at, and they're dealing with Moray Group as to how to go after that. So they are looking at the bigger picture, but it's a three-phase process, and I think it'd be good if everybody knew the three-phase process up front, my personal opinion.
Yeah.
And that if we had a lot more explanations up front, because you dropped the survey because you felt it doesn't apply to me. 30-year-old kids don't use equipment anymore. Why am I filling this out, et cetera?
Exactly, man.
But
And
you would play frisbee golf with your 30-year-old.
yeah,
I would.
because if in the survey, because if in the survey you had those kinds of questions there to begin with, okay, so it wasn't just focused on 174 tot lot equipment areas we got to get cut down on. You would have filled out the survey. You would have had a lot more fun filling out the survey. You would have finished it. You would have had a lot more fun. We would have had a lot more good information from maybe people who don't use it anymore because you don't take your kids there, but you do use it, your bikes and all that kind of stuff. And so it has been a frustrating situation, okay? And we're all talking and we're hearing, okay, because we did that lunch, and I won't get into the details here, but that lunch was some very frank discussion, okay, from both sides, okay, because they were a little concerned about that survey we did at our fall festival, okay? And I told them why we did that, and we're concerned
relentlessly
from
unapologetic
them.
about that.
Yes, yes, they were very,
Not gonna apologize for that. We were right.
but they were very firm and respectful in their comments to us, and we were very firm and respectful to their comments to them. There was a clearing of the air, which was very, very good, okay? So we're making major progress, but I'll be taking back this amount of feedback here, and it's just 6 people here, okay, and Shar and Ashley online. And look at the issues that have come up from just 8 people, okay?
How many Oakland Mills residents that did your survey are realizing that this survey is actually different? Or if they're assuming that they already did it?
We told them when we were here at the Fall Festival, we said CA will be putting out their survey online. Okay, this is one we've put together now for the Fall Festival, but CA will be putting out one online. It'll be the CA survey.
The beauty of Bill's survey is Oakland Mills is the pilot. We did it during the fall festival. We got a lot of people from Oakland Mills who answered that survey. So when we're starting to make decisions, so the Maury group's information, when we get those survey results, will be critical to decision making, but we also have a really good understanding of how a lot of residents in Oakland Mills feel too. So we can kind of be like, well, that's not gonna meet our needs, when we start to design things, when we start to make our recommendations.
Yes.
Thank you, Karen and Bill, for
Yeah.
your work on
Yeah,
this.
that's-
I know it's a frustrating experience and I really appreciate you sticking with it because I gave up.
Well, you've got good reasons.
Yeah.
You've got good reason, I know.
Myself,
Yeah,
out of frustration,
it
so
was
I
tough.
do appreciate it.
So that's one thing I do is I'll say what needs to be said, and part of my personality is General George Patton. We're gonna get it done. It's never a matter of if, it's only when and how, period, end of story. Let's go get her done. And, talk, and we requested the luncheon, and they were very gracious. They supplied the food in their conference room. It was a great session, I felt. It was a very constructive.
I mean, at the end of the day, they're really nice people.
Yes,
Yeah,
oh,
yes,
gosh,
really
yes.
nice
Oh,
people.
my goodness, yes.
We have to figure out how to influence, so we all reach the same endpoint and everybody's, I mean, because we have, how many households did you say? Like all the residents.
3,421.
We're not gonna make everybody happy
Yeah.
because they're not gonna like it when they hear the sandboxes are gonna go away, but, I think that, we wanna make the most people happy as possible.
Is that,
Yeah.
it's 3,400?
30, my recollection is 3,421 households in Oakland Mills.
Yeah, I think
Sounds about right.
it is right about that, yeah.
It's
And-
about 10,000 people. right?
Yeah, about 10,000 people in Oakland Mills, yes.
So CA put up signs, right?
Yeah, and
So they put
all
up
the players.
signs throughout all of open space, a couple hundred of them throughout all open space.
Like, actually by the roads instead of just, not just by them.
Yeah, I think that they put them at the gyms, I think
They were at the lakefront.
yeah,
Mhm.
so good.
But actually here in Oak Mills.
Yeah, maybe just one for out front.
Yeah.
There is one on the bulletin board.
Oh, we could
Yeah.
put one on the front window.
Yes,
That's a good
yes,
idea.
that would be great. Appreciate that so
One on
much.
the bulletin board Over by LA Market.
Yeah, we could do both.
Yes, I appreciate that. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And I think sending out again before Thanksgiving would be great. Yes, and
Good fodder for dinner.
I think saying that, the one thing to add though is just let people know this is open through Thanksgiving weekend.
yes,
So, everybody's in town, take all your relatives to a play area and do a survey.
yes, absolutely.
When they sent it out, did you write a little thing? that goes
Okay.
with it?
And I'll tell
Yes,
them what
I
Bill
did.
said.
When I sent out with my
Emphasis
face on it,
Yeah.
I said,
Yeah.
where's
Absolutely.
effective?
Tell Jim.
Please
say
take the
first,
survey. I have
You're a Frisbee.
always considered
And why not?
Columbia's open space to be the crown jewel of Columbia.
Fireworks and-
Filling out the survey will help to
Screens
enhance
or
that
whatever.
Maybe
tradition.
Maybe
throw in
We do that
another
on
thing
our
to
streets,
take
though.
care of Brigida, just saying,
A lot of
this is not just for parents of kids who use the Potluck now. This is for all Oakland Mills residents to help us with a direction or something like
But
that.
then the pandemic hit, so I stopped
Down
looking
to
into all
words,
that, yeah. I just thought that'd be kind of fun to do.
8:30, I've got no more words.
You got it. You turn off at 8:30? That's it, dude.
These
But-
days.
Okay,
All right.
anything else? We're good?
Now.
Okay, meeting adjourned. Great meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Rebecca's my favorite meme. What's the meme? It's like when I